Mark Shapiro told me the first time we spoke on the phone that I don't know if cold pizza will last another week, another month, or 10 years. And the truth is, cold pizza is still going now, and you could maybe stretch, but you could call it either First Take or Undisputed because they're both still the roots of cold pizza. So I plunged. I'd always wanted to do a daily morning show or some sort of daily TV show, see if I had the chops for it. And I pulled up stakes and moved to New York. And we tried to add a debate component to the show because Mark knew that was my forte, that was my strength. That's what I had done on Jim Rome shows, on pre-Monday Night Football shows, Monday Night Countdown on ESPN, led by the great Mike Tirico, worked with Sterling Sharp, worked with Joe Theismann, worked with Phil Simms, and in debate format, I worked with Michael Wilbon and Mitch Albom in what we called Knights of the Round Table. Mark knew all this and knew that's who I was and what I did. Woody Page had already been hired on Cold Pizza. Woody has a little more entertainer in him than I probably do. He can play the morning clown a little better than I can, so he was going to be the lighter half of the duo. But we wanted to debate sports, which Mark thought had worked before on the network and might help save Cold Pizza, a story that was a show that was built more around the GMA model, loosely based on sports with a little bit of sports in it. We got halfway through our 4 or 5 minute debate. We probably did 2 or 3 minutes. And our showrunner, named Brian Donlin, who ultimately became a good friend of mine, a man who had done nothing but morning television shows in New York City, general interest shows, not sports shows. Brian Donlin was in the control room. We were at the old New Yorker Hotel in the basement where our studio was, 34th and 8th in Manhattan. Brian Donlin came literally running out of the control room onto the floor where our set was, and Brian Donlin screamed at me, pardon my language, "You are way too hot for morning television," said Brian Donlin to me in front of Woody and Jay and obviously the crew listening in the control room. He didn't mean it as a personal attack. He just meant that my style, in his eyes, wouldn't work on what he knew worked on morning television. I was too passionate. I was too emotional. I was too loud. I was too excited. I was too me. And I sat back, shocked by his reaction, because I was playing half speed. And I said, with all due respect, Brian, I barely knew him. I said, given the ratings you've had so far for this show, maybe this is exactly what you do need on Cold Pizza. Was it ever? So my point to you is, what if my confidence had been rocked by that? It could have been. I was a fish out of water. I was overwhelmed. I'm in New York City on a show that's struggling, if not failing. And when in Rome, I'm trying to do what the Romans do. What if I had tried to conform to general interest morning TV standards? What if I dialed it way back? What if in 2007, 3 years later, what if Cold Pizza had been canceled just the way every other New York-based ESPN show was canceled? All of them, plugs pulled, except for Cold Pizza. But I hope you enjoyed that video. You ready for more? Make sure you click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from the Skip Bayless Show. And don't forget to check out the full episode of the show wherever you get your podcasts by clicking the link in the description.